Rob, you went to a conference recently. You came back with some thoughts. What are those thoughts?
I did, Bodie. So you just said it. I just went to this conference. It was a really good conference. I enjoyed myself. But as I'm walking around, as I'm meeting people, I kind of came up with this: how to get the most out of a meetup or a conference that you attend as a creator. So if you're going to like a podcasting conference, or like if you're going to Vid Summit or any of these type of conferences where you're going to learn how to do, any type of creative work, there's some things that you might want to do when you get there. So I went to a podcasting conference, and initially, Bodie, I'm thinking, man, I've been podcasting for 19 years. There are not many people who have been doing it longer than I have. Now, I don't say that to say that I know everything there is to know about podcasting. I think I know a fair amount. I think I know a bit. So I wasn't going to this conference because I thought I was going to be put on game on some new podcasting strategy that I had never heard of. Really, what it was for me was the networking. And I honestly think that anyone who's attending these shows, unless you are going to some advanced seminar where you're going to be getting a ton of specific information, maybe it was like, part of a course or mastermind you were going to. If that's not the case, I think that everyone should probably look at going to these conferences as networking opportunities and take every chance you can to meet as many people as you can.
So, yeah, along with that, right? If you learn something, it's always a bonus. I know people who go to conferences and they never go to any of the sessions. There's the, I can't remember what the term of
the breakouts.
The breakouts. Yeah, but I'm thinking more of like all of the informal sessions that happen in the hallways in the gathering places, where you just have a bunch of people getting together and just chatting about, here's how I handle this, or here's how I handle that.
I dare say that I had a fair amount of that at this conference. Bodie had the bright idea to wear a t-shirt to a podcasting conference that said, ask me about my podcast on the t-shirt. I don't want to say I know for a fact, but I saw no one else with a t-shirt like this. And it basically, it got me into hundreds of conversations over the course of the 3.5 days that I was there. And so I will say that when you're going to go to a conference and one of your goals is to meet people, do something to stand out. Wear like a bright color. There was a woman who I met, Dr. Marlene Carson. I met her on the plane on the way to the conference because she saw my t-shirt and said, hey, are you going to the podcast summit? It's like, yeah, I'm going. But she's just regular dressed on like you would be dressed on a plane. The first day of the conference, she had on a bright, hot pink suit with an actual crown. And I'm talking about not like one of these plastic crowns. She had an actual crown. This thing probably weighed 3.5 pounds. But do things to stand out, to have people come up and talk to you, because I am not an introvert. I don't believe that to be the case. But I'm not an extrovert. I'm not going to be the life of a party. Put me on stage, put me on a football field. I'm very comfortable there, but I'm not going to be the person walking around, hey, tell me about yourself. That's just not my natural personality. I have to actually put myself into that mode. And because it's not my natural state, that's draining. But what I will do is talk your ear off if you come up to me and ask me about your show. So wearing that t-shirt was one of the best ideas. And I've been wearing that t-shirt for 2 years, but I've never worn it to a conference of this magnitude. Wearing that t-shirt was by far one of the best things that I decided to do.
Yeah. I mean, and I went to her website. It's just marlenecarson.com. Mm-hmm. And she's wearing that bright pink suit, or one similar to it. And it is noticeable.
She cannot be missed.
No.
She cannot be missed.
I mean, she's got other pictures of her wearing other clothes, and they're usually darker, more businessy clothes. But she's definitely let everybody know that she's in the room for sure.
So one of the other things that I would say, that if you're going to go to a conference and you're going as a creator, if you're a podcaster, if you're a YouTuber, if you're a vlogger, or you're a writer, whatever it is you're doing, and you are going to be doing this networking, you want to make it as easy as humanly possible to send someone to your content without making them do work. So one of the things that I did notice at this conference, and I've been to many conferences before, many podcasting conferences, and I've noticed this in almost all of them. But you will ask somebody about their podcast, and they'll tell you, sometimes they're effective, sometimes they're not. But what they usually don't have is a business card with a QR code on it. They don't have a QR code on their phone that they can send you to. It is, oh, just go find me on YouTube, or just go find me on, iTunes, or I should say Apple Podcasts, or go find me on Spotify, which makes the person that is getting the information have to do the work. If you're the one that wants someone to go to your show, you need to make it as easy as possible for them to get to it. So one of the things that I do is I use one of these applications called a virtual business card, like Blink or Link or Popple or Hi Hello. There's a ton of them out there, but essentially what they do is they give you a virtual business card with a QR code, and you can have anyone just pull their phone out, scan your QR code. And here's the magic of this. Yes, it will give them your contact information, but it always gives them the ability to enter in their name, enter in their telephone number, enter in their address. If they do that and hit submit, it'll send you their confirmation, or it'll send you their information back to you and put it inside of the CRM of the various system that you're using. So that was something that I did, and I saw multiple people doing it, and it worked very well. I've got well over 100 contacts that I was able to make, and I didn't hand out a single business card.
Yeah. And I will say, like, when you're giving somebody a pitch about your podcast, right, it's a little bit different where you're trying to, but you're in a conversation and you're trying to like bring it up, right? It can be awkward and weird, but by having the shirt, ask me about my podcast, that also already invites that conversation. Mm-hmm. What can people do if they're in those little like awkward conversations of talking to somebody they don't know, and they want to let them know about their podcast in a more natural way?
Well, here's my take on this, and you've heard me say this before. I believe that if you want someone to know about your podcast, tell them about it in every opportunity that you have where it's not inappropriate to do so. Do you know where it is not inappropriate to tell someone about your podcast? At a networking event, at a podcasting conference. It is absolutely appropriate. So there, I tell people, get over yourself. Tell people often about your show. But I will still say, make it easy for them. So I have created something that I use for various shows. I call it a listen to page. Now, some people might have a, like a link tree. They'll have some type of web page where you can very simply send someone to your information. I like my own branding. So if we're thinking about the Tech John, I've created something called listen2.thetechjohn.com. If you go to listen2.thetechjohn.com, it'll bring up what I call my listen to page. And on that page, all you can do is look at my logo, or listen to the show on iTunes, listen to the show on Spotify, listen to the show on YouTube, or any other way that you would have access to getting to an RSS driven podcast. I think I've got probably 40 different links in this podcasting application that you use that is called I can't even think of the name of it, Pod Page or something like that.
Yeah.
But it just gives you every single way that you can listen. And doing that to me is way easier than having someone, hey, just go check it out. Because usually when somebody just says, hey, go do this work, they don't do it. But if you give them a link, if you've made it to where maybe reciprocity comes in, if they ask me about my podcast and I do all the information, I give them all the information about it because they asked me for it. Even though I kind of set the stage where I wore the t-shirt, which prompted them to ask, the fact that they asked me for the information when you give it to them, the chances of them actually taking action on it are significantly higher than you just offering up randomly.
Yeah. And that page you were talking about is Podlink.
Podlink. Yes.
Okay. What's your next recommendation to get the most out of a conference or meetup, Rob?
Practice your pitch. So if you're a podcaster, if you're a vlogger, if you're a YouTuber, if you are creating content and you plan on telling people about your content, practice what you're going to say to anyone who's going to ask before you get to the conference. Because I would have a lot of times where people would be having a conversation with me. I'd be having a conversation with them. They've come up and very excitedly, hey, I love your t-shirt. Tell me about your show. And I tell them about my show. And then, of course, I want to, well, hey, well, tell me about your show. Oh, well, yeah, I've got a podcast and we talk about this. And they start to sound like this, like the adult characters in Charlie Brown. You want to practice your pitch to where it is an elevator pitch. It is even quicker than that. You're giving somebody 15 to 20 words on here is what my show is about. Doesn't even need to, to include the name, because if you can get them with that 15 to 20 words in a very quick sentence or two about here is what my show is about, and you see them look up and left, they're thinking about it. Hey, here's my QR code. You can go right to it. You don't need to tell you if I hand somebody a QR code, if I hand somebody a business card with a QR code on it or whatever, I don't have to tell them the name of my show and go find it. I literally can say, pull your phone out, take a picture of this, and it just brings it up automatically. So I would absolutely practice your pitch. Make sure that when you are talking to someone about the thing that you love and you want them to love it too, that you can make it sound as exciting as possible, and they don't sound like wah, 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 when you get down to it.
Yeah, time is one of our most precious resources. And if you can use the time that you have with somebody to effectively get them to at least listen to you or listen to your show, you've won. Maybe they don't subscribe forever, but at least, getting those moments of, especially in the one-on-one, real life type of situation, that is a big win if they check you out.
Here's the other part of this is that when you make it really easy for somebody to follow, the easier it is for somebody to do, the more, the more likely you're going to do it. There is a trend now because more people watch YouTube on big screens or watching it on televisions more so than they watch on mobile or laptops. There's a trend now where you'll still say, click the link in the bio or this or that and the other. But a lot of times you'll just put a QR code right on the screen, right in your video. Why? Because as people are watching video on their television, they still have their phone right there in their hand, and they will pull it up, take a picture of that QR code. So I strongly, strongly, strongly recommend. And this isn't even just for when you're going to a conference. This is just when you are trying to tell someone about the thing that you're trying to get them to pay attention to. Make it as easy as possible for them. And there are plenty of these QR code services out there. There's plenty of these QR code, generators out there if you wanted to create your own page. And just make it as easy and as simple as possible for someone to get to your content. One of the things that I noticed when I was at the conference was that as people are, clicking my QR code, and I even went one step further. This is for those who really want to be technical with it. I actually create a NFC card. So instead of you even having to use your camera to scan my QR code, I just hand you a actual credit card that has an NFC chip in it, and you just tap your phone to it, and it immediately brings it up in Safari if you're on an iPhone or whatever browser is your default browser if you're on if you're on an Android device. It works like magic. And then the other part of it is that people think, oh, that's cool. How did you set that up? You can literally get into a conversation where you now are able to tell someone how you've done something. And, for me, since we're, podcasters and we talk about tech on our shows, we probably should have an episode. Hey, go listen to this episode. This is where we tell you how to actually set up using an NFC card that you can hand to people where they can just tap their phone directly to your card and bring up all your information.
I've heard about people using the NFC cards before, but I don't think I've actually known somebody that's used it. So that's a good thing to know. What about,
I'm just going to show here for folks who are watching and not listening. I bought a pack of 100 of these cards. So this is the inside game here. The reason I bought 100 of these cards cost me maybe $39. The more you buy, the cheaper they get. But for $40, I think I got 100 of these cards. I probably handed away 50 or 60 of them. Show people how to actually program them so that they could use it on their own. I know for a fact that every single person that I did that for, not only did they click on the card and bring up my page, they became a subscriber to not one, but in most cases, multiple shows because of we've talked about reciprocity on the show before. When you're hooking somebody up, they feel like, oh, I need to go back and hook you up. Well, the hookup for me, come listen to my show. I talk about this kind of stuff. I talk about how to get more people to listen to your show all the time. Come listen to Beyond the Post or wherever else I'm, a lot of my conversations were technical nature. Go listen to Daily Tech News Show. Go listen to the Tech John. Go listen to Daily Tech Headlines. Go listen to All About Android. I was even talking about other shows on our network because people were interested in it. And it makes it so easy to do when you've got something in your hand that can, get somebody to look up and left and like, wow, how did you do that? It's like, man, you're like a master marketer. I heard that no fewer than 10 times. I'm not. I just saw someone else do it at a conference and I thought it was cool. So I tried to do it.
No, that is a fantastic idea, Rob. Like, one, you're right, didn't cost you all that much money and you got some left over. But two, you did somebody a solid. And, even if today that isn't something that they're like, oh, well, these shows aren't for me. But maybe in 2-3 years or 2 or 3 months, they think back and they're like, I would really like to have on my show, or who I'd really like to collaborate with? Rob Dunwood. He gave me this, whatever. And it's just being a good person, but it's just a really good way to kind of cement you into somebody's mind.
So see, here is the takeaway from this episode. If you're going to market yourself. Put it out there. Put it all out there. Let people see you, in all your glory. And this is a true thing. I had multiple people that I met at this conference that said, I got a buddy that needs to meet you. They would go away, and at some point later in the conference, they've come up to me with 1 or 2 people. Oh, you don't got the t-shirt on today. So I didn't wear the t-shirt every day because I did want to enjoy the conference, because I wanted to actually walk out of the hallway into some of the breakouts. So I didn't wear the t-shirt every day. I think I wore 2 of the 3 days I was there. But show them that thing with the card again. I literally had people coming up saying, oh man, that is awesome. So you can just tap and, they can just tap their phone to your card and you're going to send them to whatever site you want them to go to. Absolutely. And people trust that. Absolutely. One of the speakers actually wasn't the speaker. She was the MC. The MC had, she had very, those long, acrylic nails. She had an NFC tab in her fingernail.
Oh, I've seen that.
So as she's talking to people, she's like, watch this, pull your phone out. Push her thumb out, and then you tap your phone to her thumb, and her website comes up.
That's
where
awesome.
You can follow her in this and that and the other. And I'm like, yeah, I was on to something. I was doing it with these blank cards. She was actually doing it with her very, very finely manicured nails. But that kind of stuff stands out to people. And so I had no fewer than a dozen people. Hey, dude, how did you set that up? Where did you get this from? Bodie, you know me. I'm an affiliate marketer. I'm not an affiliate marketer, but I am not shy to give somebody an affiliate link for something. So I was like, man, people keep asking me about this t-shirt. People keep asking me about these NFC cards. Let me just go and get the Amazon affiliate for them. I know I'm already looking at my statistics. I already see where people have ordered NFC cards. I've already see where many people have ordered t-shirts. I've had probably over 15 people who have ordered t-shirts through my link at this point.
Nice. Yeah. And the nice thing is when you use those affiliate links, or when they use the affiliate link, it's not just the t-shirts you get the affiliate for. It's
anything you buy within 24 hours or until the cookie gets reset.
Yeah.
So I can only really tell that because Amazon's stats are what Amazon stats are. You can see what somebody bought. You can't see who it was, but I would almost guarantee you that if I can go and see that they bought a t-shirt, it was because I talked to them at this conference.
That's awesome. That's a great idea, Rob. What's the other? Is there anything else that you have?
It is like I said, when you're going, just get out of your comfort zone. It's a funny thing among podcasters. A lot of podcasters actually say that they're introverts. Mm-hmm. And I believe that. But when you're going to go to these conferences, get your money's worth. The money is not necessarily in the sessions. The money is in the connections that you make. So a phrase that I heard, it wasn't at this conference, but I used it a couple times, but I've heard it many other places. Is like, doing good business isn't about just the money that you make. It's about the connections you create. So that's how I look at going to conferences, to meet as many people that you can ultimately have conversations with at some point beyond the conference as you possibly can. Because I would hope that some of these people will become listeners of some of the content that I create on, the multiple different shows that we do. And I would hope at some point I'll bring somebody on to one of my shows, or somebody will bring me on to one of their shows, and we'll be able to chop it up again in the actual platform that we do. So some folks I was meeting were YouTube. So I was like, hey, bring me on your YouTube channel. We'll talk about podcasting or tech or whatever it is you want to talk about. I definitely met some people who are in the tech space that I want to bring on various tech shows as well. So make the connections. Find new people to listen to your show. Find new people of shows you want to listen to. Find people that you can bring on your show. Find people that will bring you on theirs. That's what those conferences are for. And when you do that, it makes that ticket, you're right, it's not inexpensive. They could be $400, $500, $600, $1,000, $2,500 or more. It helps defer the cost of that because you're actually getting some business out of it.
Oh, that's awesome, Rob. If we're going to market our own show, if people want to support the show, how would they do that?
beyondthepost.fm. You can find everything that we do at beyondthepost.fm. And we have definitely the public content, but we've also have a Patreon. And if you become a member of our Patreon by heading over to beyondthepost.fm/Patreon, you will see a few different tiers that we have over there, and they get you access to the content that we call them the between the post or behind the post episodes that we put inside of our Patreon as Patreon exclusives.
Excellent, Rob. Well, one, thank you for going to the conference and sharing all this with us. But two, welcome back. It's been a couple of weeks since I've had an opportunity to talk with you. So I'm looking forward to continue making content.
Good to be back, man. See you folks next week.